Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Come on in, sit down, get comfortable. Here we go once again. Here's your guy, Mark My Words. It's a live Q&A tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of health and wellness. So let's get together. Let's share some questions. Let's share some advice. And let's get better tonight. All right? All right? So this is your guy, Mark My Words. If this is your first time on the channel, on the live, please like and subscribe to the channel. All right? And hit your notification bell that way. You will know if I'm going live, if I'm posting a new video, or things of that sort. Now, on these live Q&As, bro, we have questions that were submitted by people to my email, coachmark22@gmail.com. That is coachmark22@gmail.com. Again, these are questions submitted by certain men. A couple ladies will write in as well, and they just write in to get some advice about whatever they're going through, man. And tonight we're talking about health and wellness. So I've been getting a lot of emails about how people can get their journey started, how they can do better with their health and wellness, man. And we're not getting any younger, so we got to get better. All right, so that's what we're gonna do tonight. Now, if you are feeling some type of way about any of the things that you hear, or this resonates with you, and you feel like you want to email in and give me a question or submission that you want featured on a live Q&A, please do so at coachmark22@gmail.com. Now, I do offer one-on-one coaching. If you feel like you are in need of someone to hold you accountable on a consistent level, someone to give you a plan and help you execute it so that you can become a better version of yourself, that could be in your spiritual life, that could be with your fatherhood, that could be with your relationship, that could be with health and wellness, that could be with your finances. If that is the case, go down in the description, book a call with me. We'll get on the line. We'll talk about it. We'll see if we're a good fit and we can establish a relationship. All right. So go down in the description. You'll see the link. Now, I normally don't like to do a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of BSing before going into what we're going into. But one thing I will tell you guys is this. Any subject matter that you feel like you're lacking in life, okay? We got to start taking some time to educate ourselves about it. There are too many digital sources for us to get information nowadays, bro. We have no reason to not know what's going on. If we're feeling too tired, we can go on YouTube and key in, tell me why I'm feeling so tired, and there will be 100 videos that pop up that talk to you about getting better quality sleep. You understand? We have to be adamant about finding out information about in areas that we're lacking. And it doesn't matter what it is, man. You're never too old to learn, and you're never too old to get better. Everybody can get better, bro. I try to get better every single day, in every phase of my life, man. Every phase of my life. If it's possible, I can get some information on how to be a better driver. That's what I do. It is what it is. Worst thing that happen is I don't learn nothing that day. You know what I mean? But at least I tried. Okay. So make sure you do that. Invest some time into you learning to become better in the areas you're deficient. Now, got a few emails submitted tonight, and I just want to tell you guys, when you guys submit emails to me, right? No matter how long the email is that you have to, put an explanation in. Sometimes I'll just summarize it to put it into a smaller question so that it can fit in the Q&A. But you got to be transparent. I will never let your name out, never let your location out. That's never important, okay? But it's I understand you're writing in to get some advice. That's awesome. But you have no idea how many people will see this video, and they're going through the same thing you're going through. So the advice that I give you will be advice that they take and implement into their own lives. So it's very important to write in, man. It doesn't matter. No question is a dumb question. You understand? And we all have room to get better. So that's why I bring the questions to this forum and we go live and talk about it. All right. So first question in the health and wellness Q&A this evening. What's the biggest mistake people make when they are trying to lose weight, and how can they avoid it? What is the biggest mistake when people are trying to lose weight, and how can they avoid it? There are several mistakes. Okay. There are several. I'd probably say the biggest one is unrealistic expectations that they have of themselves. Now, the normal person on a great nutrition plan that has a great strength training program, they can lose about 2 pounds a week, right? On average. That's over a long period of time. So if you end up averaging it out, because some people will lose 6 pounds in a week, then they'll lose 3 pounds the next week, then they might go 2 weeks and not lose any. You understand? So when it averages out, normally people can look to see about 8 pounds of fat loss in a good solid month, man. And that's people across the board. That's the average, okay? But people have unrealistic expectations. They say, "Oh, I want to lose 40 pounds by summer." and they got 3 months. Bro, that's 90 days. That's 12 weeks. Now, 3 pounds a week, I've seen people do it, but it's not realistic. It's not as realistic as saying I want to lose 20, right? Or how about this? I just want to lose 2 this week. I want to lose 1 pound this week. I'm 200 pounds. I want to be at 199 at the end of this week. Unrealistic expectations. So people set a huge goal, and a lot of times it's very unattainable from the door. But then they start going through the process, and because they haven't lost 10 pounds quick enough, they quit. I'll never get to the 40 pounds because I'm having trouble losing 10. But the expectation was too big from the start. So I would tell anybody that, first of all, the scale is not the only barometer that you're getting in better shape. There's so many things that you can measure to see what type of shape you're getting in. I mean, it's so many things, right? But if you're just going to use the scale, but you got to be realistic. Go for 1 pound each week. 1 pound each week. Most of us can do that. Most of us can do that, but that takes a strong nutrition plan. That takes a good strength training program, and that takes you changing some habits as well. You got to change some habits. And a lot of us don't change our habits at first. We go straight to thinking we can just work out and diet a little bit, but still have a lot of bad habits outside of those things. And then when we don't see the weight loss, we get discouraged. So I would say that's the biggest problem that people have, and that we got to just tone it down a bit. Don't worry about the huge goal. You will get to the huge goal. And let me tell you something. Most likely that 40 pounds that you want to lose, once you get there, you're not going to be satisfied with that anyway. You're not going to meet too many people who work out consistently, like daily or even every other day, that are satisfied with how they look. There aren't too many people that are satisfied, bro. You become addicted to the process, and you actually never get satisfied. I'm just gonna be honest with you. All right, start small. That's what I would tell anybody. But that was a really good question, because everybody has to start somewhere, number one, and everybody makes mistakes. Okay, and so that type of question, it actually translates to everybody's journey, even people who are in pretty good shape, because we're all trying to get somewhere. It doesn't matter how nice you think somebody looks or how good a shape they're in. They have goals that they're trying to meet in this fitness game. It is what it is. So if you have a question submission like that, please email me at coachmark22@gmail.com. All right, I appreciate you. Now, how do you know if your workout routine is actually working for you? How do you know if your workout routine is actually working for you? Well, first of all, you got to give it time. This fitness thing is a delayed gratification type of deal. You can't expect to see results overnight. There are so many of us, and I mean, bro, I go to the gym every day. Some days are just stretch and recovery days, but I go every day. Sometimes in 30 days, I haven't seen a bit of progress on anything I do. Not with my sprints, not with my strength training, not with my stretching, my jumps. I'm doing the same thing I was doing 30 days ago. So you will hit plateaus. The way to know if your routine is working for you is, first of all, if you feel better. If you feel better. How do you know if you feel better? If it takes you longer to get warmed up, let me rephrase that. If it took you longer before to warm up, to get into your routine, if you were tired halfway through your routine and now you're getting all the way through the routine and you're not exhausted, if you're not as sore the day after or 2 days after, your body is adapting to your workout. So that means you're getting better. And you feel better. Like when you go to the gym now, instead of you dreading the workout, you're kind of anticipating the workout. If you wake up in the morning and you're not complaining and you're not dragging and you're kind of antsy to get to the gym, that's how you know it's working. When you feel better. Listen, that looking better thing, and we all go through it. We all look in the mirror and we think, man, I look worse, or I seems like I'm not looking better, or whatever. There's so many changes that the human body goes through during the process of starting to work out or going through a routine. Okay, you're not always going to see the changes. One week you're getting stronger. The next week your endurance is getting a little bit better. Next week it's blood flow. The next week it's your cardiovascular system that's getting a little bit stronger. Your breathing techniques get better. You become more flexible. You can go deeper on your squats. You're running sprints. You're getting a little bit faster, but nobody's timing you, so you wouldn't know that. There's so many changes that you go throughout your program, especially if it's over a span of a few months. So to me, the best gauge is how do you feel versus how you felt. And obviously, if you're taking some type of inventory on the amount of reps you used to do. So let's just say you're doing air squats and you started out doing 20 a day and now you can do 55 a day. Well, you're getting better. You're getting better. If you can do 25 versus 20, you're getting better. And most importantly, you're getting stronger mentally, because every day that you do it and you don't go back to the old you who skipped days, who always said, I'm going to start Monday, you're getting better. You're getting stronger mentally. So I would just gauge how you feel. And for a lot of us that we go through, I'm telling you, people that have been working out for a very long time, we go through like 3 to 4 months of plateaus. Like our muscles don't grow. We don't get more flexible. Our numbers don't go up in the gym. We just hit plateaus, bro. The one thing I can tell you is you feel better every single day because you don't quit. You get stronger every single day because you become more resilient. You don't give in to the pressures. You understand? So to me, that's the best barometer to gauge whether or not your program's going well. All right. So that was a pretty important question. There's so many people that go through that. And they quit, myself included. So I've been through that before. All right. So good question. If you have a question for me, please send me an email and express your situation on at coachmark22@gmail.com. Now I have another one for you. That we're going to get into. Are cheat meals good? Are cheat meals good or bad for long-term health and fitness goals? Cheat meals. Okay. Now, we use the term cheat meals because obviously you have a different nutrition plan and it does not include the things that you used to eat. Okay. So we call them cheat meals because you're cheating your diet. That's why people call them cheat meals. Now, you have some influencers that like to say, don't call them cheat meals. Just say you had some cookies. Just say you had a cheesesteak, bro. You just felt like having a cheesesteak, right? I like the term cheat meals because it reminds you that you should not be doing it on a regular basis. You should not be doing it on a regular basis, because if you don't call it cheat meals, it just becomes a regular meal on Tuesday night. And for most of us, we've had Tuesday nights where we've had a cheesesteak, fries, extra sauce, and then some ice cream afterwards. But if you're calling it a cheat meal, that means that you're moving towards cleaning up your diet. Okay. So you asked, was it good or bad to have them for long-term health and fitness goals? Okay. You have to let your hair down sometimes, just like you need days off from the gym. Now, everybody's plan is different. So I don't want to give you a cookie cutter and say everybody should cheat on Saturdays. Make yourself feel better. That might not be good for you, because that might tear your weekend up. You might not work out that day. You might skip Sunday. Next thing you know, you're skipping 2 days every week. That's 8 days every month, right? So I don't want to tell you that. What I can say is, if you have a strict routine, if you have a nutrition plan, okay, number one, you have to establish consistency. So when you begin, I wouldn't have any cheat meals at the beginning. I wouldn't have any cheat meals. And that just might be for 2 to 3 weeks, because what you're trying to do is break old habits. And you're also trying to allow your palate to change. And it changes every 30 days. So if you're trying to break this cycle of needing sugar, if you're trying to break this cycle of eating processed foods or greasy foods, right? Fried foods, you need to be away from it for a little bit until you, and then you can go back to it to where it won't consume you again. So when you do go back to it after that initial 30 days or 60 days, it gives you a chance to really see your body change some without having those things in your system. And then when you have that cheat meal, you can understand how much, like, you're able to feel how much different you are able to see how much different it feels when you eat those types of foods versus the foods that you're now eating on a daily basis. So I think they're good, but they're good if you have established a real good routine of consistency, and you've seen some changes, and you don't crave those foods as much anymore. We're fighting cravings, and I just got to be honest with you. If you let's just say you're 30 years old and you're a little addicted to fried foods, let's just say that's your thing. You've probably been eating fried food since you were a child. That might be 25 years. So when you're trying to break that bad habit that's been around for a couple decades, you need to be off it for a little bit before you go back to it. So I do think cheat meals are good for long-term success, because you do have to be able to know that on a Wednesday, when you might be craving something, oh, I can have that on Saturday. So I'll just wait. I'll have it Saturday. And I don't like to call it a reward, because we shouldn't reward ourselves for just doing the right thing. I don't think that's what we should call it. But it is cheating on your plan. It is. So it's good to call it a cheat meal. Let's call it what it is. So it's good to have cheat meals down the line once you've started to see some progress and you've shown yourself some discipline that you can stay away from those foods. But that's really good. And you have to understand, man, like a lot of people fall off because they don't know how to implement the cheat days correctly. They either do it too soon or they don't do it at all. So then when they fall victim to it, they feel guilty. They fall off the wagon. Next thing you know, it's 2 weeks. They haven't been at the gym. It can get bad. So in moderation, of course, but I would just wait a tiny bit from the beginning of the start. So if you start January 1st, I would implement in some cheat days maybe in March. You know what I mean? Maybe end of February, and just one every 5-6 days. And you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go crazy. You don't need to get the triple Whopper, large fries, couple apple pies. Like, it doesn't have to be that extreme. Okay? But everybody's different. And I don't know that there's a cookie cutter plan that's going to fit everybody, because everybody's habits are different and everybody's past is different. You know what I mean? But that was a really good one. Also, if you guys have an email for me, like this young person did, please give me an email at coachmark22@gmail.com. All right. I'll get to your questions as soon as possible. Got another one. What's one daily habit that can instantly improve both physical and mental health? One daily habit that can instantly improve mental and physical health. Important. Let me start this out by saying, if you're not growing mentally, the physical will be very hard to attain, right? So most people that I've seen make a physical change, a physical transformation, they've also transformed mentally. They're a different person. You ever see somebody lose weight or just get in great shape? You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that they lost a ton of weight, but you can just tell they got in great shape. They sound different. Their eyes look different. Their energy is different. They think about life differently. They speak differently. That's because they went through a mental change. Okay? So I would say something that would change you mentally, right? A daily habit that could change you mentally and physically at the same time is walking outdoors. Walking outdoors. Let me tell you something. If you and just try this for yourself, try it tonight or try it tomorrow. Whenever you take a walk, just jot down some of the feelings you're having. Jot down 3 feelings that you're having before you take the walk. When you get done with your walk, let's say it's at least 15 minutes. It could be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Look at those feelings and assess yourself. Do you still feel that same way after you get done with the walk? Now, you can't talk on the phone during this walk. You don't want to listen to music, because music can drum up feelings. You know how you listen to a song and it takes you back to a different time? Okay, it can drum up feelings. We're talking about just you, nature, and you're just walking at a good pace. Doesn't have to be a superpower walk, but walk at a good pace. 15 to 30 minutes, and look at that little list that you just made and see if you still feel the same exact way that you felt before you start the walk. What I'm going to almost guarantee you is that you don't feel the same way you did when you started the walk, because something happens inside of us when we take a walk outside in nature. That's why people will say, go walk it off. That's why people say, oh, I need to go take a walk. Nature calms you. Walking calms you. Okay? When you feel like you're moving forward, it calms you. That's why babies fall asleep in the car. You understand? There's something calming about nature and there's something calming about walking. Now, if you add in the self-talk, and I know it's weird, man. It's weird to be outside walking around talking to yourself. But man, you can get a lot of problems solved walking and talking. A lot of problems can be solved. You end up talking yourself. You end up talking logic, speaking logic into yourself, right? So if I was going to do something instantly today, and I couldn't go to the gym, I couldn't change my eating habits, I couldn't even change my sleep habits, I would say go walk outside 15 minutes a day at least. If you can do it 2 to 3 times a day, that's perfect. Okay, 2 to 3 times a day, 10 to 15 minutes at least. Okay, you are going to see some instant changes. You are going to see some instant changes because anytime that you get outside and calm yourself and you're able to talk through issues, it just makes you feel better. Then on top of that, any wellness routine right now is going to involve you getting your steps in. So anytime you increase your steps, so if you're only getting 5,000 steps a day now and you increase that to 10,000, you are going to feel better about yourself. You are going to feel better about yourself. There's no way you cannot. And that's a very simple way. And that's something that all of us can do. So I suggest that to the 75-year-old man on down to the 25-year-old little girl. All right. Because walking just makes you feel better. You end up just seeing the world a little bit different. You feel better because you're progressing. You're getting in steps. And then you kind of start feeling like that movement makes you want to move more. It makes you want to move more. So next thing you know, oh, and you know what? I'm not going to do 15 minutes. I'm going to do 18 minutes today. Oh, you know what? After this 18-minute walk, I think I'm going to just do like 20 squats, just see how I feel. And you just start progressing. So if I was going to look for something instantly to do to change my physical and mental state, I would just start walking outside. It's very simple. Very simple. All right. But very powerful question. And we need simple solutions. And one of the things that I always want to bring to the table for anybody that listens to my channel is simple solutions to make you feel better about yourself. Everything does not include a 3-month plan. Everything does not include you changing your entire eating habits. All right. Getting a new workout program, cutting off 10 friends. Those things work sometimes, right? But we need simple solutions to start making ourselves feel better and gain some momentum. So that was a real question, man. That was a good one. So if you have one just like it, please do me a favor and email me at coachmark22@gmail.com. All right. I got one more here. Is it important to focus on diet or exercise when trying to get in shape? Is it diet or exercise? Now, I would imagine that you're asking diet or exercise, like if you had to pick one, like if you can't do both right now, you just got to focus on one. Let me be honest with you. There are many people, myself included, in the past that try to change everything all at once. And that is a large reason why a lot of us fail, because we try to change too much at one time. I'm going to get up early in the morning. I'm going to stop hanging out on the weekends. I'm not drinking anymore. I'm going to change my eating habits, and I'm going to work out twice a day, 7 days a week. Rome was not built in a day. You understand? I know a lot of y'all think these are just cliche sayings. They're actually true. You cannot build a city in a day. You can't change your life in a day. You can make small changes every day, but you can't change your life in a day. So I think this is a really good question, because there are so many of us that need to just change something this week or even this month, and then attack the next thing next month, and then add on to it the month after that. So if I was going to give you a suggestion on what to change right now, I would say your diet. It's 2025. What we have is tons of access to processed food 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. Lack of exercise is an issue in our country, but it's not the main problem. Our main problem is our eating habits and our access to foods that we have no business eating on a regular basis. Okay? I would change my eating habits. So I would say slow down on the processed foods, right? Just make a list of what you eat in a 3-day period of time. And just be honest with yourself. If you drink soda, you drink soda. If you eat 2 or 3 bags of chips, you eat 2 or 3 bags of chips. You eat candy, Skittles, chocolate, whatever it is, write it all down. And pick about 3 of those things you can take out. Pick about 3 of those. All right, listen, I'm not eating Snickers. I'm not going to drink sodas. And no chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. I'm going to just do that for 7 days. Next 7 days, you cross off a couple more things. Now, that doesn't mean you add back in the Snickers. You understand me? You cross off 3 more things. And just do that for 30 days. Now, you got to replace it with some other foods. You're not trying to starve. So if you eat 3 Snickers a day, you probably need to replace those with maybe 3 protein bars or 3 apples. You know what I mean? Maybe some grapes. Okay, you got to replace it because you're used to getting in those calories, so you have to replace them. But I would say start removing things that you know you should not be eating. You're going to start seeing changes. You're going to start seeing changes. You're going to start realizing that, you know what, I feel so much better when I'm not drinking that soda every day. Man, seems like I sleep better when I'm not eating ice cream right before I go to bed. Man, it seems like I don't know, but it looks like my genes went down a little bit. Because let me tell you something. If you're eating a lot of processed food, you're probably getting in a lot of, your sugar intake is probably super high. As soon as you back up off the sugar in large amounts, you will start to see your body fat drop. It is going to happen. Your skin's going to start to clear up. You're going to be more hydrated. That's what happens. Okay? So I will focus on diet before exercise. Because once you have the diet in check, the exercise is a lot easier anyway. Because if you try to put exercise before the diet, right? And we used to do this when we were young. We ate whatever we wanted to all day, bro. In our 20s, ate whatever. And we just went to the gym. And it was whatever, right? At 22, 23, I could do that. Now, I probably would have been in a lot better shape had I not done that. But I was able to do that. Now, there's no way I could do that. There's no way I could eat fast food and then think I'm going to the gym an hour later. It's not going to happen. I'm lethargic. I feel dehydrated. I'm bloated. It's not going to work. Okay. So I hear people say, man, I'm starting to work out, but I didn't really change my diet. But in a little bit, I'll change my diet. And I'm like, bro, you probably should have done it the other way. Because the food you eat regulates your mood. It helps you feel more energized. It even helps you sleep better. And all those things play into how well you perform at the gym. You understand? So the things that you're looking to do at the gym are going to be greatly affected by how you eat. So I will put the diet first. So again, I hate to keep saying these are good questions, but they all are, because so many of us have done it wrong. And I always tell you stories about myself because I don't want you to think that I've been in this type of shape since I was 2 years old, where I went through periods of time where I was out of shape. I was way overweight, way too much body fat, super bad habits, eating fast food, eating super late, drinking too much, doing it all. So you got to understand, I'm speaking from a real place. And if I could go back in time, I would have learned more about how to eat correctly and sustain like some healthy eating habits that I could enjoy. And I probably would have never went through those bad periods of time. But we live and we learn. But anybody I could give advice to, man, and I don't know how old this person is that emailed me. You might be 28, you might be 30. I love to tell younger people, man, listen, get it together now. Don't wait, man, because if you can get the nutrition down, and that doesn't mean you're going to be on a diet for the rest of your life, but that just means you understand, okay, these 20 foods are pretty good for me, and I need to choose from these 20 foods 90% of the time. The other 10%, I can eat those other foods. But it can't be the other way around, because then when you get to 40 years old, now you got 70 pounds to work off, and worse yet, you have 20 years of bad habits that you have to change. The habits needing change that's the biggest hurdle people have. Going to the gym is pretty easy, man. You get a membership, you just got to show up. That's pretty easy. But breaking those food habits, your eating habits, tough. So I say get it together now, man. slowly but surely. All right. So that was a really good one. Now, you could be this person possibly that's having problems getting their eating habits together, right? Staying away from the people that always want to take them out to eat. Staying away from those who always want to have them drinking or smoking. You might be this person. You might need some one-on-one coaching to try to coach you through a period of time to help you develop some habits that can get you in a better place so you can start being the healthier version of you. If you are that person, go down in the description, book a consultation call with me. We'll get on the line, see if we should establish a relationship. We might need to check in once a week, once every 2 weeks, a couple times a month, maybe a couple times a week. It might be that severe. All right. But if that is the case, we'll talk about it, figure out if we can establish something. All right. So if you have questions or submissions like these that I went through tonight, please give me an email at coachmark22@gmail.com. That is coachmark with a C 22@gmail.com. Any situation is a good situation. We'll talk about it. I'll fit it in somehow. You understand? But we come on here because we want to get better. We come on here because I like to give people advice, and the people that are listening, hopefully they can take some notes and implement those things into their own lives. And as I give you advice, guys, I'm getting better with myself as well. Okay. So it helps me out when I'm able to just give you real life experience from what I've gone through, things that I've learned, things that I've researched, and help you implement it. And it helps me kind of course correct myself too, because I get sideways myself. So this is always good. But your health is your wealth, man. And I know you hear these rhymes, these sayings, and you're like, oh, they just saying that. Let me tell you something. Life gets 10 times better when you're healthy. It gets 10 times better when you're healthy. I don't care what career you're in. I don't care if you're white, black, Mexican. I don't care, woman, man, child, dog. If you're in better shape and your wellness is on point and you really feel amazing about yourself, life is 10 times better. Don't let anyone tell you any different. It will never change. There will never be a time that will change. All the money in the world cannot buy you the happiness that health and wellness can. It's not possible. All right. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in with me. Your time is valuable, and so is mine. So it means a lot when you spend it with me. I will be back on here tomorrow night, baby. We Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. That is Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll be back on here doing the Q&A style. All right. It is your guy. Mark my words.